I want to do a little bit of a review, but based medrash b'li chiddush, I think that I want to understand what we learned on Sunday even better and learn it inside. In Shar Aleph Perek Hey, a few paragraphs in, so Sefer says, "V'nishmas kol echad hu ha'olam she'olav." Ma'ishinamar u'b'nosei achayis inosu ha'efanim l'mosam kiruach achayah b'efanim v'lechtem ilechu v'amda yamoidu. Psukim at the beginning of Yechezkel that everybody knows. And Yechezkel's nevuah, he was able to, the whole Shemayim opened up for him, and what he saw was, the way the Zohar explains it, but you don't need the Zohar, because if you just read the psukim, it says it right there, that what he saw was different levels, right? And we allude to this in Shachris, Ifanim v'chayis hakodesh, Rash Gadol. I think I mentioned this. I just want to mention again that it's important to understand that when we say Birchas Kriat Shema, so we talk about this nevuah of Yechezkel. Here, you want to have a sit over? Right. What we're referring to in all this, we're learning Kabbalah in the middle of Birchas Kriat Shema, and we say Hashem Oel HaMelech HaGadol HaGibor VaHadar HaKadosh V'chulam Mekablim Aleim O Malchus Shemayim Zeh Mizeh. This is all based on the book of Yechezkel, that he saw Chulam Mekablim Aleim O Malchus Shemayim Zeh Mizeh V'doiste B'rshuz Zel Zel HaHakti Sheyoytzer B'nachas Ruach V'Safar Vrura V'Ne'ima Kedusha Kulam Ke'echad, key word, Kulam Ke'echad Oidim V'Oimer B'Yira. I want to speak about this ke'echad. I don't want to speak about achtos. I don't like the subject of achtos. But I want to speak about ke'echad. So kedusha kulam ke'echad oidev v'oimer b'yira kadosh kadosh kadosh. And that's something that he saw, that there was a kadosh 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 of a kadosh baruch hu. Kadosh means kadosh baruch hu is something else, so something special, something miyuchad. V'oifanim v'chayis hakodesh. Those are already lower worlds, lower levels of malachim. V'oifanim v'chayis hakodesh. I presume we're meant to understand this because we daven it every day. We're not meant to daven every day what we don't understand. V'oifanim v'chayis hakodesh b'rash gadol. There's already a rash here, because in the Shemayim, it's like the brain doesn't make any noise. Like a very quiet organ. Sometimes your stomach can make noise, your heart at least makes it boom, boom, boom if you put it onto if you're listening through a stethoscope. Brain, not, it's like interesting. The higher the world, the less the rash that there is. So there's no rash by the brain, and there's no rash in the world. So the rash starts, you have Atzilus, Bria, Yetzirah, Asiya. The rash starts with the world of Bria and Yetzirah. That's where the noise begins. And in this world, it's the Chbabash HaTumul. Everybody's making noise all the time. And by the way, like I feel, I don't want to say anything bad, but like the lower the madrega you are, the more noise you make.
It's called the Mamadaka.
Called the Mamadaka. But Eliyahu Navi went from level to level until he got to the level where he saw Loi Barash Hashem, Loi Baruch Hashem. Called the Mamadaka. Oh, so you see total abaratza, like talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Yeah. You talk, like you know what I'm saying, like you're in an elevator for 30 seconds, you can't not talk. Like what's going to happen if you don't talk? Like awkward.
So why in shops do we have Adim Chazak?
Oh, one second. Where does it say that?
I mean, in Kedusha.
Oh. 10. V'oifanim v'chayis hakodesh, oifanim. We talked about. Nefesh HaChaim explained. Chazar is like the pulley system, the wheels that are going, the gear pulley system, which is going from up to down. Don't think of a wheel like a car, or don't think of a wheel going this way. It's a wheel going this way. V'oifanim v'chayis hakodesh b'rash gadol meaning bringing high things low and low things high. Think of the Sulamai Shel Yaakov, Shemalachi Elohim Olam B'Yarden. That's the wheel we're talking about. I found him, and then Chayis HaKodesh is Lashon of Chiyus. It's a higher level. Barash Gadol B'Sdasim Lubas Shrafim. So it's coming down here. Lumasam Mishavchim V'Ayrim. For them, we don't say Kadosh, 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 which is a world apart. We say Baruch. This world is a world of bracha. See, really, we should always, in this world, we're looking for bracha, because anything that's spiritual, that manifests itself in this world, is called bracha. That's why we make a bracha when we eat. It came down to a tomato. But it comes down to parnasa, it comes down to having shalom. That's bracha, having good health. Bracha is how all of that manifests itself in the world. Bracha is like a lashon of brecha, it's something which is coming from the earth. It's harusa de lasata in Kabbalistic language, but it's coming from here. So we got from Kaddish, Kaddish, Kaddish to the world of Baruch Kvoid Hashem Mim Koimai, to the world of Baruch Kvoid Hashem Mim Koimai, which is there. So we got from Kaddish to Baruch. That's the important thing. And I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, but I'll mention it again anyway. Obviously Yoni didn't hear. and that is that it's interesting that this whole thing that we say Bein B'chol, Bein B'Shabbos, we say B'nichusa. We're sitting down, we're relaxed, we say it out loud. The Gemara Bracha says, Mishnah Bracha says that if you need to be mafsik under certain circumstances, you're mafsik. And then we say repeat almost the whole thing again in Kedusha and almost the whole thing again in U'Vo L'Tion. Different languages, but pretty much the same thing. 3 times. You don't say U'Vo L'Tion by after Musaf, interesting, on Shabbos. But so what happens when we say it in Kedusha, which is after Shemona Esrei, so there, like, this is not the same way. It's not b'nichus at all. You stand up, you stand straight. Even in shuls where people talk, nobody talks during Kedusha, Pella. No, nobody talks during Kedusha. So there's the Rash Gadol is gone by that Kedusha. It's interesting. And the halachas of Kedusha are so much different. Even though they're saying the same words, kimat, the same describing the same nevu of Yechezkel, we're doing it in such a different way than we do it in Birchos Kriat Shema. And the Pashup Pshat, this is that when we're saying Birchos Kriat Shema, we're learning. We're learning. This is learning. We're learning the nevu of Yechezkel. We're describing. We're in a different world, if you will, going from the world of Asiya, of Karbonos, up to the world of Yetzira, in psukim de Zimra. That's where you sing Yetzira. It's just like you go through into the Beis Hamikdash. You go from the world of Gashmias to the world of Levium singing. That's the world of Yetzira, psukim de Zimra. And then you get to the world of Bria. Bria is brainy. Bria is a room. Talmud Torah is in the world of Bria. So Bria is Moshe Rabbeinu kind of hung out in the world of Bria. So here you're learning. So you're learning. You're mafsik to learning, right? Kol nitchim Talmud Torah, interestingly. But so we're describing what the malachim are doing. By the time we get to Shemona Esrei, which is the world of Atzilus, so we're mamash oibed lifnei Hashem, and then nachacher, you get to the world of Kedusha. We're not describing what the malachim are doing. We're doing it. Let us do what the malachim did. We're not describing any longer what the malachim did. We're doing it. Nekadesh shimcha. Whatever nusach you want to have. Nekadesh shimcha keshem. How can we possibly know what they do and what the malachim do? That we should be able to have the ha'azah to do the same thing? The Kadesh Shimcha Olam Keshem Shemakdishim Oisei B'Shmei Maraim Karkosav Ayad Neviacha. The answer is Yechezkel taught us. So what's the Obek Hadavar? The Obek Hadavar is that we actually stand more than Malachim higher. So there's a like Behechatesa, we can do what the Malachim did. The answer is Kal V'Chomer. You see, we need to like stand on our heads here a little bit, because what we don't understand, and therefore we don't act accordingly, is that we have this kind of vision. which is simple. I don't know, you just learn it in Sunday school. You have this kind of vision that there's God, there's angels, there's us, like boom, boom, boom. So that's true on the one hand. On the other hand, as we're going to learn, it's the other way around. That there's God, there's angels, and then there's us. It's a whole. It's counterintuitive, but it's a kal v'chomer for malachim. Lekadesh sheshimcha ba'olam kishem shemaktisha b'oseh b'shmei baruch kakosav ayad neviecha v'karazel zeviyamar. Then we start to do that. The chazan, the person, we become malachim. That's why nobody talks during Kedusha unless you're like a real bad. It's like really bad. But that's the side hadavar of how the Seder HaTefilah works. You see, this works exactly up with the Seder HaDvarim, with the Seder of Tefilah. So let's go further. Here he said, besides to that, another important chiddush, and that is just again, I'll go back to the first line that we just read. Nishmas kol echad hu ha'olam she'alav. So again, when we talk about the neshama, not that any of us, I include myself in this, has any idea what we're talking about. We talk about the neshama, but we talk about it as a sort of a spiritual organ. You have a liver, you have a kidney, you have a heart, you have a brain, you have a neshama. It's spiritual, so it doesn't show up on an X-ray or any kind of sophisticated equipment. But it's in there somewhere. And then we always have the fakir, is the neshama here, or is the neshama here? Where is the neshama? The answer is the neshama is there. This is what's important. The neshama is not necessarily. I don't know. We'll explain where, what, but. The neshama, the word neshama, according to this definition, nishmas kol echad hu ha'olam she'alav. The neshama is, you'll help me out with the metaphor, but what we're talking about is that which empowers the person is the neshama. In other words, every world, just like the worlds for a second. So the world has a neshama too. How's that for a chiddush? The world has a neshama. So the world of Asiya, that's the world that we live in, touch, feel, that has a neshama called Yetzirah. And the bottom of Yetzirah this is, by the way, Kabbalah 101. This is clear, Arizal. The Divrei Rav, at the beginning of Beitz Chaim, this is what he says. The bottom of Yetzirah powers the world of Asiya. The bottom of Bria powers the world of Yetzirah. What does this mean? And ultimately it's powered, it goes up and up and up. So what's powering we have to figure out what the ultimate power is. We don't have to figure out because we know, but there's a chiddush in here. But when we're talking about neshama, is we're talking about the life force. We're talking about the I don't even know what it is because I don't think it's anything that we're talking about. But I'm just trying to give a mashal. We're talking about I don't know what the difference between life and death is. I don't even think that's the neshama because. We like to say that when you die you lose your neshama. We like to say that. When you die you don't lose your neshama. When you die you lose your goof. That's the big difference, though. When I haven't been there. I just know that for sure you shed the goof. But you see all kinds of things that there's hashras hanefesh and haneshama by the kever for all kinds of. I'm not so passionate that it's not so passionate to me that the neshama just vanishes. The neshama though is that thing which empowers or enlivens the person. So somebody want to give me a good mashal from the world of physics? I don't know.
Is it like the DNA of the?
No, because the DNA is in here. So we could give a lot of mashal of what it isn't. But we're talking about, we're talking about that. This is not this, but this wouldn't be this if it wasn't plugged into that, right? So in a sense, kiviyachol, the plug is the neshama for the machine, and the electricity is the neshama for the plug, and the generator is the neshama. So wherever that originates, Niagara Falls, wherever that comes from originally, where does it come from? They make it. No, but where does that come? Oil. Coal. So if you trace the I can never talk about this without telling you my story. That when I went to Brisk, so I prepared for weeks and weeks. Very hard yeshiva to get into Brisk, but I prepared for Rebel's Elevation, So I prepared for weeks for hair to go to Brisk, and you don't know what he's going to ask you, and you don't know where, but I figure he'll ask you what I learned. So I prepared a whole shtickle Torah, this and that. And when I got there, he said to me, after he looked at me like with his X-ray, that was rough. But he said, "Where are you from?" So I said, "Buffalo, New York." So he said, "Where's that?" So I said, "It's right near Niagara Falls." I figured, Buffalo, Niagara. So he said, "Oh." So he says, "Electricity comes from Niagara Falls, right?" So I said, "That's right." I was very proud of my city. Electricity comes. So he said, "How do they do that? How do they get electricity from the waterfalls?" I wasn't prepared for the shtickle Torah. So every time I made something up of how electricity comes through the waterfalls, turns wheels, turns generators, he slugged me up. But at the end of my Havana in Niagara Falls, we never got to learning, we never talked about a Gemara, nothing. He said, "Okay, you can come to the yeshiva." All I can say is it's a good. Rav Scheinberg asked me, "How did it go?" So I said, "It's a good thing I don't come from Rochester, because I come from Rochester. That's Kodak, and I really don't know how that works." Total disaster that would have been. But the point is that the Shabbat. So we have a new definition of neshama, and this is extremely important. And by the way, it's extremely universal. It goes meaning the neshama is not miyuchad to a person, and the neshama is not miyuchad to this world even. Everything that is in Hashem's creation, the way Hashem set it up, that's just the engineering of it. There's a neshama l'mala mimenu, which is logical. It's getting its power. The important thing here is it's getting its power from up. It's getting its power from a higher place. That's what the neshama is. The neshama is that higher place. So where's the neshama? I don't know where the neshama is. Where does the neshama manifest itself? Okay, there is electricity in this machine, but it's not the neshama. It's not the neshama. Okay, so that's first yesod. But nishmas, and here's the he gives an example. Kisei is another word for the olam of Bria. Remember the four worlds. It's important to memorize this. It's an important piece of information. Abiya, Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, Asiya. We live in Asiya. On top of us is a Yetzira, world of Malachim. On top of that is Bria, the world of the Kisei. The misnomer that's important to explain is that there's the Kisei HaKavod. This does not mean God's chair. Just a mistake. It doesn't mean God's chair. I don't know. God doesn't have a chair. He doesn't sit. Why it's called the Olam HaKisei is an arichas, but when we're talking about the Kisei HaKavod, it doesn't mean that God's throne, the way we like to think about it, because there's still a world of Atzilus, and there's still a world of higher than Atzilus, which that's already Bala Bala. We don't go there. What is true, it says in the Rosh Hashanah davening that Kadosh Baruch Hu gets up from the Kisei HaDin, and he sits on the Kisei HaRachamim. First of all, it doesn't say Kadosh Baruch Hu, I don't think, but he gets up. So that's where the Kisei is like. I'll give you a good example. Like if you go to a court, they talk about the bench. Do they not? A lawyer here? They talk about the bench. So why do they call it? Why do they name it after his bench? It's like the most insignificant part of the.
This is where the judge sits.
Oh, so it's like that's where he adjudicates. That's where he adjudicates from. Kilu, if this same judge is on the golf course, you're not a judge. If he's even sitting somewhere else, he's not a judge. He's only a judge. Right. When I came to the very first shul, I was a rabbi 100 years ago. So I said, I was a yeshivish guy. So I said, I need a stender. Right. Was that too much for a rabbi to ask? Stender. I need a stender. So there was an old European Jew there, like a Holocaust survivor. He says, a rabbi doesn't need a stender. A rabbi needs a kisei. Yoshev al kasa rabbanos. But the okay. Okay, so give me a chair. something over here. But the kisei harabonus, right? That's what they call it. So we talk about the kisei of a judge, the bench. The kisei is the place of adjudication. In reality, that's Rosh Hashanah. In Yom Kippur, you can get higher than that kisei, actually. So it's not God's throne. It's the place where adjudication takes place. And there's a kisei adin, and there's a kisei arachmim. Why is it called a kisei? Let's see if we can get to that. Ubezar Chadash Yisroi. Oh, sorry. So, counterintuitively, usually whatever carries something is underneath it, but over here it's not that way. What's carrying the malachim is the kisei she'aleihem. So they're being carried from above, not carried from below. There's a section in the Zohar Chadash, not the Zohar, but the Zohar Chadash, in Parshas Yisrael, which is called Medrash Ma'aser Merkava. If you tried to read the Ma'aser Merkava in Yechezkel, you had a hard time understanding. Don't even bother with the Zohar Ma'aser Merkava. I tried to always talk about, but he knew. So Zohar Chadash Yisrael b'Ma'aser Merkava Perek Lamed Gimel. The chayis natlun l'denatun line kursaya kadisha natal l'chayis. That what? That hachayis, he has in Hebrew, hachayis noisais as hanoisin oisam hakisei hakadosh noisei as hachayis. Like we're familiar with this in this world, that ha'aron noisei as noiso. We're familiar with that because that's something that was in the world of Asiya. So what is the obek of the aron carrying the Bnei Kahas? The omek is that the aron was the neshama of the Bnei Kahas, and the neshama carries those that carry it. So we carry the neshama which carries us. I mentioned on Sunday that we're carrying around that which carries us. So, mitzad echad, the Bnei Kahas had a job of carrying the aron. Mitzad sheni, ha'aron noiseis noisav, and v'cheinhu, on every oilam lamalo, the world on top of it is carrying the world underneath it. What does it mean, carrying? So stop thinking about carrying as a burden on your shoulders. Think about carrying as empowering and allowing to be. So the only reason why our goof is allowed to be is because there's a neshama carrying. So again, the neshama doesn't necessarily disappear from this world, and the neshama is going to get up in Skiyas HaBesim, right? So right here in this world. So that's all going on in this world. So it's a gather of ha'aron noiseis noisa. Now,
so Yitzias Neshama is like that point when Neshama.
Yitzias Neshama.
Yeah.
Nice lashon, yeah.
And that's when the Neshama has to go to the next level. And what does that mean now?
I don't know. Because everyone always asks, were you there? Were you there by the Yitzias HaNeshama? I don't know. Answer that question.
I think I was there by my father, so I think you can see a difference. So
I was there by Rabbi Yashov's Yitzias Neshama. I didn't see anything. I mean, what is that to say? So I died. But what's happening clearly is the neshama disconnect. The neshama stops powering the goof, unplugged. The goof in the mind of holy people is a you shed it. You don't lose it. You shed it. It's a burden. The goof is a burden. Ostensibly, when people get old enough to die. When they're old, they're not afraid of Misa. They consider it a shedding of the burden, getting into another world. I think that's, and if it's hard for you to relate to that, that's good, because that means that you got a long life ahead of you. But I believe having dealt and having said bidui with hundreds of people as they were dying. Derech Klal, there's no pachad of dying. Might be a pachad of the afterworld, but there's no pachad of dying because the body becomes a burden. So what happens is that unplugging is actually maybe a refreshing thing in that sense. Like neshama is unburdened. So now I'm not governed by the laws of gravity, and my stomach is not upset, and I don't have to eat, and I don't have like a different plane altogether. Hard to understand.
It's important to understand too that superimposed on this whole concept of space, up and down, and what you're talking about is time, because time is also a continuum.
Right.
We have to think.
Time is only in the world of Asiya, though.
Right.
So we need to think about that. Yes. Nishmas HaChaim. Now this is the clincher. The Nishmas HaChaim Shel HaKisei. What is the neshama of the kisei? Now that we know that the kisei is the world of Bria, where all adjudication takes place, and whether the world works with din or works with rachamim, it's all coming from the olam hakisei. And now that we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was out, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to him with the malachim and Yitzirah had tied it, as he said to him, the Gemara Berachos be.v, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Achois b'kisei hakavod v'hachzer lahem tshuva. You're not below them, you're above them. You can tell them what the pshat is, right? So he was in the olam hakisei. What's governing, what's powering the world of kisei? Nishmas HaChaim Shel HaKisei. So what's the answer? God, right? Nishmas HaChaim Shel HaKisei, who said Sherish Elyon Shel Klolos Nishmas Yisrael Yachad. Adam Havlo B'Vela. But not the Adam like you and me. Adam like you and me together. And this is the Echad. Kulam Ke'echad, Oynim V'Oymrim. Because what's important to understand about the way the world works is that it's on top of the kisei. Who's sitting on the kisei? If anybody's sitting on the kisei, the lashon here is who said Sherish Elyon Shel Klolos Nishmasos Yisrael Yachad Shu Yoser Gavayo Ba'oid Nala Gabe HaKisei Shehu Ha'adam Al HaKisei. Like it says before, Yechezkel HaNavi Adam. Adam, you're down here. What are you doing up there? So the answer is that there's Adam and there's Adam. There's Adam the way it was originally created. This might have been what was Adam even in the Gan Eden. This might have been the Adam Kodim Achet. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But there's the Adam which we call today. We say words like Klal Yisrael, Knesses Yisrael. We use words like that, right? If you're more sophisticated, you use it like Adam HaKadmoin. So what Koimas HaAdam. On that kisei is Adam before the Pirud. Because what happened is that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, it was all created by separation. V'yavdil, 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 v'yavdil. It's all separation. So Adam also got broken up into a bunch of parts. Millions of parts. Get married, ostensibly, two pieces are coming together. But what you're broken into parts. So each one of these parts is part of the Tzelem Elokim. Because this very, very high malach, if you will, which is sitting on the kisei, was unlike the kisei, and unlike the malachim, is Babish B'Tzelem Elokim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created this B'Tzelem Elokim. So now, that got broken up, and since it got broken up, everything that it broke, all the different sparks were broke up into a piece of the Tzelem Elokim. Now, you see, I'll tell you what I meant before that. I like to talk about Achdus. I don't know that there's any chance. Maybe Mashiach can pull it off, I don't know. But I don't know that there's any chance that I could see a dance between frum people and non-frum people. I can see that dance, but I can't see. I see it. You can see it here or there, but it's hard for me to see a dance between frum people and frum people. I don't see that. I don't see it. But I think the only chance that we have is that if we're ma'ached, not try to be ma'ached here, where everybody's like going. Like it's hard to imagine the guy, the Rabbi Chassid and the Mizrahi Dati Levi guy. Like it's hard to imagine them like really dancing together. Maybe I'm talking about the whole movement. I'm not talking about individuals, right? So, but that's very Mashiachtic. But the chance that we have is up here, because what happens is that up here we already are biyachad. And since we're biyachad over here, that's called the Knesset Yisrael. So since we're biyachad over here, if we're ma'achad ourselves back here, then you have a geula, because the whole idea of the geula is that the Shechina is Sherer B'Tachtonim. You're taking this concept and you're bringing it down. Now, What's ma'akev? All the pieces from coming together. What's ma'akev? This is not a good thing that's ma'akev. On the one hand, it's a good thing because all the separation is good. Because separation is what makes everybody unique and makes every movement unique. So many different things. It's good things, be'il be'shama. That's a good thing. But at the end, it has to come together. Because at the right time, it has to come together. Because when it comes together, then you have a movement. You can have movement in this. All these are not separate pieces. The shvatim come together. These are what all the nevuas, all the neviim are speaking about, right? About the shvatim coming together, and even the animals are coming together. Everything is coming together. What the only chance we have is to be ma'achin on the olam of neshama. How are you ma'achin in the olam of neshama? And this is what does that mean? Does it mean anything? What it means is we're ma'achin in the olam of neshama by ignoring the guf and anything that has to do with it, and getting involved with the neshama. And this is the last thing that I want to do. Chazara. We talked about this. But I want to get it deeper. You see, this is, by the way, just to understand, when Hashem gave Adam a neshama there in Gan Eden, so vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. We all know the famous Zohar. Everybody quotes man de nafach medilei kanafach. So Hashem breathed into our nostrils. What it really means is, it means what it means. But what it means is not that there was what's the opposite of artificial resuscitation? Real resuscitation, like that artificial, like HaKadosh Baruch Hu was enlivening us. But what that means is this: to understand that at a sophisticated level, is Adam is here, and then you have the world of Yitzir, the world of Bria, the world of the Kisei, the world of and all of the creations of the world, the animals, the trees, everything in the everything in the world was created from the world above it. Not so Adam. Adam is HaKadosh Baruch Hu was vayipach ba'apav nishmas chai. We weren't created the same way. We don't find that HaKadosh Baruch Hu went to all the gorillas in Gan Eden and breathed into their nose. Why not? They're also alive. Because their neshama is coming from the neshama above it. Our neshama is coming straight from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chai. That's what that pasuk means. That it comes straight from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Eifo? The answer is not here, but here. Because there's the Adam Shala Kisei. That's the Adam that Hashem created, so to speak, and that broke up into a bunch of different pieces. But that Adam was Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chai, which is why I'm theorizing, and I'm saying it's theory. I'm just guessing that the Adam Harishon was the Adam Akadboy. The Adam Harishon. That's what's mashma to me for the Medrash Rabbah at the beginning of Breishis. That Adam was the Adam Sha'ala Kisei. It wasn't Adam like we know Adam in Gan Eden. I don't think so. Didn't have skin. It was a different thing.
Stretch from one end of the world to the next.
Stretch from the whole thing. The whole thing.
Got confused.
What?
That's why the Malachim got confused.
Right. They also got confused with Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Baal Yilud Isha.
No, but they wanted to say Shira to Adam Rishon, meaning the Mamash couldn't very tell the difference.
That's why Adam got confused. The Nachash told him, well, you don't have to serve. You have to be served. Eat from this, and nobody can tell you what to do. You'll be like him. Yudea Toivara. You're. What was the Nachash telling him? You're way up there. You're not. So Adam himself got confused. As people get confused, they think they're God. Yeah.
When Yechezkel saw Adam up there, he also saw 3 animals. What are those 3 animals?
They said there were right. Why were the Malachim identified as animals?
No, I'm talking about the eagle, the shore, the Ari. Possibly it's their characteristics. I don't know this. It's a question, but could it possibly be the characteristics of those 3 animals that's going to go into the human being? Why those 3 animals?
Why those 3 animals is interesting, and it's the same thing that we say to Skaber Kari. We find a lot of times that was the way I understand it. What he saw was the beginning of the Pirud. There are different characteristics because when Hashem created Adam, let's back a step to answer the question. Baruch Hu created Adam, and he saw he's making kina b'maisa brachos. because after all, we're created on Friday, lasted all the days. So however everything was created, they were created. Now I'm creating Adam, so I'm making a kina b'maisa bereishis. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says the Chazal was mamlich with all the animals, and said, like, are we in this together? And they said, Beseder, Nasa Adam, Hashem said, Nasa Adam b'tzameinu kedusenu. So the world is creating this bria. So it means that Adam is not only here, he's here, and he's here, and he's here, and he's here. So there's no kina b'maisa bereishis, because everyone's kind of contributing their midah up, where it's to the ultimate Adam. And the ultimate sugim of animals are the ones in the Maisa Merkava. By the way, this is the Malbim. The Malbim explains that this Nakuta, that those are the Iker Midos. Is that what you just said? They're the Iker Midos Shabbat. The Malbim says that. Malbim in Yechezkel. The Malbim, in his introduction to Sefer Yechezkel, explains this Nakuta on the first page. The significance of Adam, what we've come to is there's Adam Lamala, Adam Lamata. That the every world has its neshama on top of it, is what we just said. But the neshama of Adam is a HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So in the lashon of the Balatanya, the neshama of a person is a chelak elikai mimal mamash. He likes that lashon. He says it over and over and over. Chelak elikai mimal mamash. It gets all the misnagdim nervous. But what it's saying is that it's important to understand what is we are getting direct power from HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. And when you think of the whole chart, the whole corporate chart here of how the world works, that's pretty serious. So for instance, and we started reading this, I just want to do it again in the Likutei Ma'amarim, in the back if you have it, in Yudalad. So here, very briefly, he talks about Inyan Kfilas Hashem is Avraham. Hashem said Avraham. And remember, we learned Avraham, psik taimei. Moshe loy psik taimei. Now, he's going to say further. I'm skipping ahead because I want to make a point. If we read this, but if you have it there, a page or two later, he says, Kol HaNaviim nisnavim b'koi amar Hashem. Whenever Nevi'im spoke, you see that? If you have the same book as mine, Shin Lamates. Kol HaNaviim nisnavim b'koi amar Hashem. That's how Nevi'im started their words. Ko amar Hashem Hashemayim kisi, right? That's what they said. Even Yeshayahu spoke about the Kisei HaKavod. He said, Ko amar Hashem. Kamoi, what does koi mean? What does ko mean? Ko, kimo. Utmus, Indian said, Hazal Amar, V'loy ha'yuchel lemer zeh hadavar. The only one who said zeh hadavar is Moshe Rabbeinu. Shemash v'shezeu adiber ba'atzma b'li shinui. Shamu mipi Hashem yisparach. So, ko means azoivi, right? Ko means, come on. Like, I got a nevuah. I need to interpret that nevuah. The nevuah is not Zeh HaDavar Asher Diber Hashem. I need to interpret that nevuah. Now, our nevia MS or Nemon to interpret nevuahs correctly, but it's still an interpretation. It still requires an interpretation, and that's why every dream came b'chaloim. You know, it's hard to interpret a dream. So nevia must know how to interpret a dream. Moshe Rabbeinu. It's a different story. Zeh hadavar. Shemash v'shezeu adiber ba'atzmai b'li shinoi shamoi mipi Hashem yisparach. Ach nevuas Moshe Rabbeinu alav Hashem haisa gevaya ma'od v'haya medaber imay kashi yidaber ish al re'eh lashon borer l'chein ha'yomer zeh hadavar asher tziva Hashem loymar b'dibur zeh sheshamati borer boy ani omer lachem. When Moshe Rabbeinu is speaking to the people, he's telling them, I'm not, zeh hadavar asher diber Hashem. Zeh machmas. How did Moshe Rabbeinu get to this point? The answer is, machmas hizdachachus hachomer etzlei. It's because he was able to rid himself of his gashmis. And this is very important. Hayamabid letzem ha'inya. Tmunas Hashem Yabit, Loshen Habata, Hu Istaklus Yisera B'etzem Inyan. And that's why that was the importance. It wasn't a side point of Moshe Rabbeinu being the Anav Mikol Adam. That was the main thing. So let's go. Let me again, this is the end of this section, but I want to go back a minute, about 3 minutes. Moshe Rabbeinu was told in his first encounter, Shal nalecha me'araglecha. Take off your shoes. Taking off your shoes means, we learned, that if I'm going to give you a mission, and if you're going to accept a mission, not to help yourself, but to help the whole Klal Yisrael, to get the Torah, to create history here, to bring a Geula. If I'm going to give you this mission, the first thing you have to do is Shalom Alecha Me'araglecha. You have to get rid of your Gashmias, because the Nal, as he explained, is the metaphor for the guf. Just like the shoe holds the body, so you have a body. You need to get out of your Gashmias here. Now, what does that mean? He was a Levitic person. He although he got pretty high, Lechem lo yachalti, Mayim lo shasisi, Arboim yom bahar, he got pretty high, but still he was a person. Still he died. Still he was born from a mother. But Hashem told him, the mission here is take off your shoes, or take your shoes off. This was his whole Metzias. He never put those shoes back on. We don't find in the Torah, okay, put your shoes back on. There was a hispashtus of Gashmius. That is the depth of Anivus. The depth of Anivus is that I'm not, it's not about, in any way, it's not about comforting my own guf. Anivus doesn't mean humility in the sense of, I'm a nothing. Humility means, I don't know what humility means, but Anivus means that I'm, the concern here is not me. This is not about me. See, what happens under a chuppah, two neshamas are coming together, right? So what you're doing is, you see, if you go to the chuppah wrong, it's all about the guf. If you go to the chuppah right, it's all about shedding the guf. And here we are, at least for these couple of minutes here, in a matzav of Yom Kippur, where two neshamas could possibly come together because there's no guf being chotzetz between them. This is why, by the way, on Yom Kippur we could say, by Kol Nidre, that anu matarim lispalalim ha'avrayanim. There's no chatzitza on Yom Kippur. There's no chatzitza. It's the only time when everybody should be able to daven together. Like I said before, we can daven with avrayanim, but if you have a different shita, I don't know if I can daven with you. Like avrayanim, okay, if you're a chilali, we can deal with that. But everyone's welcome. Well, tshuva, that's what. It's a bitter gelechter, right? But I mean, it's true. You know, it's true what I'm saying. We can't. You can daven, maybe you don't daven the almond. What I'm saying is that the idea of the anivus is to be able to shed the guf, shal nalecha, and keep those shoes off if you want to have a higher mission. So you see what happens. Like, let me tell you the practical part to this. This is something a little bit experienced with. You speak to somebody who's completely chiloni. Now, I can tell you in my experience, we don't know who's chiloni and who's not chiloni. You just don't know. It's a pella how many religious people are chilonim and how many chiloni people are religious. It's a pella. But putting that aside, you speak to a person. Let's say you want to do kiruv. I can give you a trick of the trade. I did this for many years. You speak to the person, and that's very important. You're speaking to the person. It means you're sitting on the floor with the person, and you're talking about life and practicalities and nisyonos. But then, what's important to know is there's also a neshama. I don't mean speaking to the neshama here, but there's also the same person as Avram. So Hashem called out to Avram. He said, "I'm calling to you here. Kill your kid." That's not very practical. Avram, I'm talking to you now on a higher level. Shal nalecha me'araglecha. And you can access, anybody can access that neshama elyoina. And when you talk to that neshama elyoina, there is no limitations. There's no practicalities. And you can't stay there because Moshe Rabbeinu kept his stuff, but you can charge somebody with a mission. And I'm not talking about, just in a conversation. You can charge somebody with a life-altering mission only if you can get above the chatzitza of Gashmias. You can create, this is very real, very practical. You can create achdus between people. You can make shalom bayis. You can create achdus between people if you can get above the Gashmias. I'm telling you, it's all Gashmias. Politics is Gashmias. Politics is, in other words, synonym. Politics, Gashmias. Goof. It's all goof. Shal nalecha means get rid of the politics. That's what it means. Shal nalecha me'arabach. Forget about it. Just now we're talking about a different level of neshama. Everybody can come together on this level of neshama. It's a pliyat summa, what you can see. Moshe Rabbeinu was able to do this. Avraham Avinu wasn't able to do it completely. So here's a machshava. Ko means not completely. Almost. Zeh hadavar means completely. Ko is already, or as he said before, that the Hebrew. There's a mareh and a marah. A marah with a mareh with a segel means what?
To see,
And a marah, a mirror. So when he spoke about you see HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a mirror. In other words, mar'ah. Moshe Rabbeinu was a mareh. You see the two lashonos in the Torah. Tmunas Hashem Yabit. It's like a glass. You can see straight through. Balei Musar like to say that the difference between a window and a mirror is the silver. Right? That's the kesef there, But window you can see straight through. Otherwise, you just see yourself. So that's the Gashmias, that's the goof. But here's what I want to tell you: that Avraham Avinu came to do the Akedah, and he said to those that were with him, he said, "Shvu lachem poi imachamor, v'ani v'anar nelcha ad ko yamar Hashem." So Reb Nachman says like this. Reb Nachman says that there's chamishim shari bina. Nun. Koi is 25. So says Reb Nachman that ani v'anar nelcha ad koi. That's as far as I could go. I could go until ko. V'nishtachava v'noshuv aleichem. So I know what's going on over here. Avraham Avinu said, I have a chatzitza. I can climb up all of these levels over here. But the first thing is shvulachem poyim achamor. Very interesting. Reb Nachman says this, but so does, believe it or not, Rabbi Soloveitchik in one of his Arba Maimarim. When he speaks about the Akedah, he says very interesting. He says, "My heart tells me." My heart tells me. We have the same heart as a Reb Nachman, right? You see, on a neshama level, different kind of brains, that's for sure. But he said that shvulachem poi im achamar is there. Sometimes you just have to leave the body behind. That's what Rav Soloveitchik said. Really the same thing. Shvulachem poi im achamar im achomer. Chamor is im achomer. Va'ani va'anar, continues Reb Nachman, nelcha ad koi. We can get to the level of ko because I'm not Moshe Rabbeinu. There's still a psik. There's still afsik time. I can't get further than that. I'm not going to get to Zeh hadavar. I'll get to 25. V'nishtachave v'noshuv aleichem. So 25, you understand? 25, the 25th Shar Habina, is exactly where all the Nevi'im came to. The Shar Hanun was exactly where Moshe Rabbeinu came to, Shar Memtes anyways. Shar Hanun would have been, if Hashem would have answered, when Moshe Rabbeinu said, Hareini nos kvoitcha, he said, no, that's the Shar Hanun, you can't go that far. Okay, I have to answer, as everyone's saying.
Again, you said this partly last week, Avram was offered but there was still something there. Moshe, Machkeni,
Ma, nachnu ma.
Yeah. So it erased me totally from, not even offered.
Right. I don't need to be in there.
I'm sorry?
I don't need to be in there. The Lashon he brings is v'nachnu ma. Ma, 45. Almost 45. So nachnu ma probably means that he didn't get to 49 at that time when he said v'nachnu ma, he got to 45. I believe the Svarim said it. Yeah. You got that, at that moment, you got to 45. On Har Sinai, you got to 49. Which is all very real, by the way. It's all very real. What's 49? What's 50? We know what these things are. Read my Spheros book. we know what these things are. Okay.